Well, if you are new to boating and you are yet to get yourself a 60 to 90-second routine every time you go in the water that looks at all those safety and maintenance essentials, then you need one. I heard a crazy stat the other day that said over 80% of all boat breakdowns happen within 10 kilometers of the place of launch. That tells me that people aren't spending the time here at the ramp checking those essentials like batteries and fuel. So today I've just pulled up at the ramp and I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to show you the 90-second routine that I do before this boat goes out there. Let's get into it. Now, I guess the question we need to ask is, why do we do something like this? And I think the first thing people think of is, oh, I need to do this so I don't get in trouble from the authorities, the relevant state authorities. Sure, that's a part of it, but the real reason we do this is because we're trying to diagnose small problems now so they don't turn into big problems out there. Something as simple as a faulty battery connection, running out of fuel, or having stiff steering can lead to far bigger consequences, such as involving your local marine rescue, potentially injuring someone else, spending 12, 13 hours out on a waterway you're not familiar with, or in some cases, if it's a run out tide, drifting out to sea. They're all things we want to avoid, and they can all happen from a very small problem that we can diagnose from right here at the boat ramp. Now, the first thing that I do when I get to the ramp is make sure that my batteries are in working order, there's no loose terminals, and that everything seems to be working on the boat. So I've got an isolator switch on this boat, which allows me to switch between 1, 2, or both batteries. So I turn them on first, and then I go straight over to my console and check that I'm getting responses with trim, the engine's gonna kick over, and my dash lights up, and I get all the information like oil checks, voltage meter, fuel reading, because all that now is electronic. And if your batteries aren't working, then you're not going to get fed all that information, which we need for a little bit later. So I'm going to go down here now, turn both my batteries on, and then I'll come over to here, and immediately my trim is working, which is a good sign. I always make sure that motor's going to kick over. I never run that for too long because there's no water going through it to cool it. And then immediately my dash lights up and I'm starting to get fed all the critical information around oil levels, petrol levels, voltage meter, all that looks okay, and there's no warning lights on there. So that is a really good sign, and it takes less than 30 seconds to do. Now, the next thing you want to do is check your steering. Doesn't matter if you've got hydraulic or cable steering, you need to be able to turn that wheel hard lock to the left and hard lock to the right, and you need your motor to respond. The reason for that, number one, is we need our steering, we know that, but particularly when you launch your boat, if you don't have any control over it and there's 4 or 5 other boats there, it can lead to a lot of issues. I've had plenty of occasions on my old boat when I had cable steering where that steering wheel was locked up, and it was a small problem that we could fix, but I wouldn't have known if I didn't do that. Let's check the fuel. 50%. Well, that's good news. I've got half a tank of petrol, or 50% on the digital scale. And you'll notice that I'm checking the fuel here at the ramp when that boat is flat and level. I certainly checked it at home, but my boat is stored on a bit of a slant, so it gives me a false reading. And I see so many people get this wrong. They'll check it when their boat looks like this. It'll tell them they've got a full tank. They get down onto the water, they turn the motor on, and they've only got, say, 10, 15% of fuel in their tank. So always check your fuel twice, once at home or in storage, once down here, and make sure that boat is flat and level. That will give you a really accurate reading. Now, a classic one that I see so many people get unstuck with is your motor latch here. Now, this is not a big one. It's not going to cause you massive issues out there, but it is very annoying at the ramp if you go to trim your motor down and it's not going anywhere. And that's because most motors will have a latch here. It's up when you're driving or in storage or something like that. Then you need to flip it down. And if you don't do that, you won't be able to trim your motor down. So just a real quick one, always go to the back of your motor and check there's no travel block or latch on there. Small one, but important one. Now, as you can see, it is a cracking day. There's very light winds, beautiful blue sky, and it would be very easy just to go out boating and think, oh, I'm not going to need this safety gear. It's a dangerous trap to get into. I always check it. It takes 2 seconds. I've got enough life jackets on board for how many people I've got on board, and I've always got this bag which has got all my safety gear in it. And then I've got things like my paddle, my EPIRB, my fire extinguisher. Super simple routine to get into. Takes 2 seconds, but you know if you do get into danger, you've got everything you need. Now, everyone knows what this is. This is the bung to your boat, arguably the most important step. Know how many you've got. Some boats take more than one, and know where you keep them so they don't fall out in transit, and make sure it goes in. A few people out today, which is good. Might get this boat in the water. Well, there you have it. There's a super quick and easy maintenance check that you can do every time you go to put the boat in. It should take no more than a couple of minutes, and hopefully it stops small problems from becoming big ones. If you've been boating for a while, then that is great. You've probably already got this down pat. You might even have some things to add, but if you're just getting into the sport, that's something you can do. So when you get out to places like this, hopefully you have one less thing you need to worry about. Now, time to go boating. What a beautiful day.